Hi, I'm Dr. Dustin Gay. I'm a local orthopedic surgeon with Houston Clinic Orthopedics, and we'd really like to invite everybody to come out to our new office facility to take a look at it. It's a larger space with physical therapy, and we're just excited to have it, and we'd love for people to come out and visit us.
Come by and see us today at our brand new location, the Houston Clinic, Medical Drive in Dublin.
I'm with Dr. Rowland and my boss, the boss lady, Denise Forbes. Thank you for coming today, y'all.
Thank you for having us, Renee.
Yeah, this is going to be fun, and I'm really excited. So my favorite part of the show, or us doing these shows, is for you to have faces with names. So, Dr. Rowland, Denise Forbes. So there's a lot of stuff we could talk about, and I want to make sure that everything we want to talk about is discussed today. So you help me, I'll help y'all. But let's start with some history. We started off talking, Dr. Rowland and I, about the history of our CSB. So Miss Forbes, if you will, tell us, I think you gave me some pop quizzes earlier on how many staff was originally part of the ground up.
That's right. We'll just kind of keep this kind of a brief historical look back at our agency, but our agency was formed in 1966, and for those of us who've been around that long, and certainly those of us who have been in this work that long, 1966 era was the time when our president, John F. Kennedy, began the decentralization of clients out of the state hospitals. Our state hospital at the time was Central State Hospital, and so one of the things that occurred in our area was having a place to see individuals who had been at the hospital for aftercare, and the mental health center or mental health clinic was born from that period. It started out with two staff. We had a part-time psychiatrist, Dr. Lewis Jacobs from Milledgeville. He actually worked at the state hospital at the time and came to work at the mental health clinic part-time, and then Miss Linda Dominy, who was hired as a part-time secretary. And then a year later, they added about 4 additional staff, and I guess they say the mental health center was off and running. At the time, we managed the whole clinic under the auspices of the public health department. So
right.
We were actually under the umbrella of the health department. And in 1994, the legislature saw fit to move the mental health centers to actually establish a public entity, not for profit, standalone entities across the state, and they organized them under the community service boards. And so all the time, we had been in operation up to that point, we had been known as the Community Mental Health Center
Right.
of Middle Georgia, and today we are still known. We do business that way, but our official name since '94 has been the Community Service Board of Middle Georgia. And for the first, many years, up until a couple of years ago, we served a 10 county area. 2 years ago, actually this July, there was a merger that took place where we acquired the territory that was being served at that time by Ogeechee Behavioral Health Services out of Swainsboro area. And their territory encompassed 6 counties. So we went from a 10-county service area now to a 16-county service area.
And I've tried to name them all, and I did a horrible job. So you can look on our website, csbmg.com, and see all 16 counties, because we serve the most counties within a CSB, right?
We serve the largest number of counties across the state of Georgia, and I think from our last count, we have the largest geographic area that is served as well.
That's the word that I've heard too. So that's a huge responsibility.
It is a huge responsibility.
But it is a great ministry and a great blessing. There's that word again, Dr. Rowland. It's a blessing to be able to serve this area and to make sure that with our Ogeechee side that we're able to continue behavioral health services and that they're able to. We got to learn about them too. We've got to learn about our Ogeechee side. So you'll have more episodes come on that also. Tell me about your staff. I think our viewers will be baffled when they see how many actual doctors, psychiatrists, nurses. It's kind of overwhelming.
It is. It's a bit overwhelming when you sit back and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't think about it in those terms so much on a day-to-day basis because it's just our staff. But we now have close to 600 staff.
Wow.
We additionally have some of our clients who work through our supported employment programs in both the IDD, which is Intellectual Developmental Disabilities groups, as well as our behavioral health programs that work through our supported employment programs. So we have probably 100 clients that also work in that realm. But when we talk specifically about the folks that deliver care on a daily basis, it's close to 600. We have, in terms of our medical nursing staff, I'll just give you a little snapshot there. We have about 33 nurses that are employed.
Wow.
Across the 16 counties. We have 4 nurse practitioners. I'll let y'all know who those people are because we couldn't certainly do the work that we do without them as well. They are Lydia Daly, Jennifer Cox, Mary Green, and our newest addition, Ashley Carlson. Ashley had worked for us for a number of years, about 9 years, I think. Worked most of her career here at our Quentin's Place Crisis Stabilization Unit, and went back to school to finish up her nurse practitioner requirements. Took her test, passed her test, got her license, and I think actually maybe today or yesterday was her first day on the job with her new responsibilities. Lydia Daly and Mary Green work on our Ogeechee division in that area, those 6 counties primarily. Jennifer Cox and Ashley Carlson are based more in these original 10 counties. We also have one physician assistant, Rosemary Johnson, who's been with us for a few years. She started out working with an agency and then came on with us as one of our employees. We additionally, to all of this staff, have 11 physicians that we're very thankful to have. We have 6 full-time physicians and we have 5 part-time physicians. And within those that number, we have 3 psychiatrists, we have 1 addictionologist, and a little tidbit, Dr. Chisholm, N.W. Chisholm, many of y'all know as Bill Chisholm, is actually on his day job, if you will, is an OBGYN here in Dublin, but he has been an addictionologist for many years and has done a lot of work with us for 20 plus years here, and we're very happy, very thankful to have him because addictionologists also are hard to come by. Dr. Thomas Rumble is our medical director and does an awesome job. He lives in Forsyth. I think he's been with us since like 1999, drives every day from Forsyth.
Wow.
And, does a nice job of keeping up with the up and coming new trends in medicine, particularly psychiatric medicine, and also about new medications that are on the market. And he does a nice job with the physicians trying to keep them up to date on things as well. So we're very happy to have this group of dedicated staff. Jackie Purser Penny is our director of outpatient nurses.
Right.
We have recently hired a nurse, Angela Barton, as our program manager for Quentin's Place, and Cherie Skipper Robinson has been recently hired as our nurse manager at Quentin's Place. So we do have some new nurses that have come on to take some leadership roles, brand new in the job, learning the job. Very thankful to have them. A lot of tenure and a lot of experience in nursing. So we have a really good staff, and we're very thankful and glad to have them.
And my favorite part about this, because all those names that she named, you will see them in the future. So you keep watching on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings, and I hope to catch every single one of them and talk to every single one of them and kind of learn more about what each person, each employee within our programs, what their roles are and how we make such a huge picture that we're actually talking about today. So that is very interesting. Do you know all these people?
No. I don't know all of them. I know most
does
of
know
them.
most of
Those who have been here a long time, I know, but those who have come recently, I don't personally know them.
Yeah, that just shows how large of a program we actually are. So a lot of the things that we talk about is Dublin, 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 but we also have Eastman, we also have Waynesboro, we also have Swainsboro, we also have Screven in Sylvania.
Yeah.
We have a clinic there too, so we have outpatient services everywhere, and I want to make sure those in our viewing area understand that what we're talking about and most of the stuff that where we are is in Dublin, but we are over 16 counties, and these services are provided for you within those 16 counties. And those viewers, if you're watching this, we serve your area. So I want to make sure, please make sure that you're aware that these services are available for you. And with that being said, we'll be back after these few messages.
I'm Marcus Clements with Clements & King Insurance. Are you confused about all the different plans available for those on Medicare? Do you understand Plan F or Plan G, prescription drug plans or Medicare Advantage plans? There's never a fee for our service. Call Clements & King today with any question concerning Medicare-related health insurance.
It was Jacobs, who Denise mentioned earlier, who had been here for so many years. He lived in Milledgeville, lived out at Lake Sinclair,
Okay.
and he worked at the state hospital up there. And as Denise said, he came and worked here for 16.
For about 50 years, I think.
Oh,
It was
gosh.
From 66 to 2016.
Yeah, well, I came to know him when I first came here in 1999. He was just really a super guy. He's a really good psychiatrist. He's a nice, affable guy. He was very eager to please, and I think he held his patients, held him in high esteem. He was just a super nice guy and a really excellent psychiatrist. Another person I want to mention is Dr. Jim Kibler. Jim Kibler and I worked together at the medical center for many years as family physicians down there, and Dr. Kibler came to work out here in child psychiatry and was here for several years, and it was through his assistance that I finally got hired. I think I told you that Patrick
Right.
Thomas offered me a job here, and I think that Dr. Jim Kibler was in part responsible for me. So here we were, back working together again in a different venue.
Yes, that's neat.
And
Yeah.
Dr. Kibler spent a number of years with us as our medical director.
Okay.
I think maybe right prior to Dr.
Rumble, that's right, he did.
Dr. Rumble was actually hired, I think, as a staff psychiatrist.
He was.
Initially, because Dr. Kibler was still our medical director. And then when Dr. Kibler decided he didn't want to supervise anymore, he just wanted to see patients. Dr. Rumble was tapped as our next
Right.
medical director and has been that ever since. Dr. Kibler was also not only a psychiatrist, but he was a child psychiatrist, which is very hard to come by in Georgia and particularly the rural areas. And he was just very well thought of and loved by everybody that saw him. So we miss him. He's been retired now he retired and he'd come back and work a little while, and then the last time he left, he said he was done. But
Yeah.
we still think of him fondly and miss him.
Yep.
You said something about child, so let's talk. I think you wanted to share or educate us some on our CNA services. We've been seeing all of these different services over the past couple of weeks on our show of services we provide for our children and adolescents and our emerging adults.
Right.
So give me some history.
Well, what I was going to mention a little bit was, I think your term has been umbrella. We're looked at. We are a community service board. We are charged with. We're a core provider, comprehensive provider, and so we're charged with providing whatever behavioral health services might be in need for the community across all of the disabilities that are served through our department. And that would be, if you want to break it down in terms of the umbrella, the overall umbrella, you would have your behavioral health services, under which child and adolescent would be a part of.
Right.
You would serve adults and children. You also have intellectual developmental disabilities, kind of part of the umbrella. And for the most part, we serve adults
Right.
through IDD. We do serve some children, but predominantly it's adults. Under the behavioral health piece, you have both the mental health programs that we provide services for, as well as substance abuse,
Right.
and the children. And then across the whole spectrum, there's any and all types of co-occurring disorders. And we won't get into a lot of that on this particular episode, but to understand that somebody that comes in for services, they could have a diagnosis of IDD, but also be struggling with some depression. So that person would be considered having a co-occurring disorder. You might have someone that comes in who winds up dealing with some problems with, like a bipolar diagnosis, but also struggle with substance abuse. So that
Right.
person would also have some co-occurring disorders. In each of those buckets, if you want to look at it like buckets or as buckets, there's all sorts of programming. We have both clinic-based, we also have community-based. And back in '99, some of the standards changed. We went to what we call in our work the rehab option, and those rehab option services include things like day programs. We call it PSRI, or psychosocial rehabilitation, or peer support.
Right.
And you can have psychosocial rehabilitation be more of a program, facility-based program like we have with Independence House serving adults, or you can have PSR services out in the community.
Right.
Or sometimes we have them also in clinic. That's more like a med maintenance kind of program. So it would be easy to maybe have a program to where we could describe a little bit more in detail particulars around what those programming.
Oh, we're going
look
to do
like.
that. We're going to have an Independence episode, Independence House.
Right.
We talked about peer support with
Right.
the Emerging Adults
Right.
program. That's all they know about right now. But each different bucket, each part of under that umbrella, we do hope to do a specific show on just that topic.
Hey, want a successful career? Start with an education that puts you front and center with hands-on experience. An education that will prepare you for opportunity in 2 years or less. An education that's fast and affordable. Most OFTC students graduate debt-free thanks to the Hope Career Grant, which offers free tuition in more than 63 programs. Think differently about college. Choose OFTC for an education that's fast, local, and debt-free. OFTC is an equal opportunity institution.
So it's not a cookie cutter service. You don't have to participate in all these different things, or you can't be part of our program.
Right.
So as you come in, any services that is interesting to you, or that you're comfortable with, or that you need assistance with, that's our mission. That's our goal.
And like we were talking just a minute ago about the child and adolescent services, under their umbrella, if you will, you would have the standard sort of what we would consider the medical model, where someone would come in, see a physician, have an intake done, find out the needs, but then typically see a physician and a nurse, and then maybe see a therapist for counseling or working with their family. That would happen on the same type way over on the adult side as well. But under child and adolescent, we've branched out, and we do a lot of community-based services, which in their world is called CSI, Community Support Individual. It's done at home. It can be done at a local venue like a library. if somebody wants to meet at the library, or someone wants to meet even at a restaurant, as long as there's confidentiality and
Or school.
and privacy, or school. That's right. We do a lot of work with the schools. We do have a number of grants that some of which you've talked about on in earlier episodes with Apex, which is our grant funded school-based program for children and adolescents. We have the Emerging Adults program. We have our clubhouse. We have a new program that started less than a year ago that is specific to working with children and adolescents that fall under what we consider now the autism spectrum.
Right.
Prior to just the last several months, the standards that we are guided by, serving an autistic child was not within our criteria to be able to serve that individual. Now, we did serve a number of autistic individuals. They had another behavioral health diagnosis, but now, some of our department standards changed, and DCH standards changed to allow us to be able to serve the autistic child or adolescent.
And that's going to be an episode 2. So if you have or know someone who is autistic, stay tuned also, because that show is coming up also. I'm really excited about that because this is new. It's a new thing that we are able to provide for our community. Right. And I have a question for you, Dr. Rowland.
Okay.
Have you ever been to the SOAR Clubhouse?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, the clubhouse over on Hillcrest?
Yeah.
Sure,
Many
of course
times.
I have, many times.
We did an episode out there, and they had a family fun day, and they had a big blow-up water slide, and I went down it in my work clothes. It's on TV, so I have proof that I did it.
Well,
I'll probably never do it again.
The staff did they remodeled that place. They brought it back from the deteriorating circumstances within the staff of this community mental health center actually made that facility what it is today. And if you want to see something really out, and listen, the state think that's one of the best in the whole state. Denise,
They do. They consider it a showcase clubhouse for the state.
They do. It's
and
really
it truly is.
It is.
I mean, it's ours, and we're so proud of it, but it truly is a special place.
Yeah, it is.
We had fun, and I think that was the episode last week, was showing us play at the SOAR Clubhouse. I played on the piano, I sang in the microphone. They have a Lila Kate. If you don't know about Lila Kate, you need to pay attention. I don't know what I've got to do to get Mandy Evans on this show, but I'm going to get her. Do you know we got a therapy dog?
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I am not a dog person. It's a little Chihuahua named Lila Kate.
That's right.
Oh,
She's
man.
actually the smallest therapy dog in Georgia. So that's an interesting little tidbit of trivia.
You should remember that, because on our next, when I can get them on the show, when Lila Kate is on our show, that might be a good pop quiz.
That's
See
right.
if you remember that she's the smallest therapy dog in the
Georgia.
state.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, those kids. We are blessed, aren't we?
We very much are so.